Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome back to another Adobe Live. I'm your host, Fabiola Lara. Today on the stream, we're joined by graphic designer and illustrator Dany Vo. Are you excited to show us your process today, Dany?
Of course, I'm happy to be here. Hello, everyone.
Yes, Danny's going to be showing us how to create a packaging design piece using Adobe Illustrator and
Mhm.
Photoshop. Now, before we get started, if you missed the previous stream, you can view the replay over on Behance or YouTube. Plus, check out photographer Winnie Lau as she composites product photography in Lightroom Classic and Photoshop. Finally, don't miss the Illustrator Creative Challenges with Clady from Print My Soul every weekday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, right before this stream. So tune in and challenge yourself with a new prompt each day. Now, if you're joining us from YouTube, come on over to Behance by heading to behance.net/Adobe Live. You'll get the most interactive experience on Behance. So come hang out with us while we learn from Dany. And remember, you can always replay the live streams even when we're offline. So bookmark this page so you can come back to it whenever you need a little refresh. Now, Dany, I'm going to check out the chat. We have Voodoo Val, like always. We have Becca. We have Steve, Emma Wency, Jack Watson. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited that you guys are here. And Dany, why don't you start this off by introducing yourself and tell us what we're getting into today?
Of course. So my name is Dany Vo, as you heard. I'm a Kenyan designer. I moved to the US like 5 years ago. I started as an illustrator and then switched to graphic design. So I think it was a great combination. It's definitely helped me through my career, having both sides. I think as an illustrator, I like to please myself. So I like to create stuff that's going to please me. And when I go to graphic design, I like to please my clients. So I think life is all about the balance.
Yes.
It's definitely helped me to discover myself and understanding people as well. Because, I want you to understand develop a good emotional intelligence as well. So here I just moved to New York a month ago. So I've been in Montreal, I moved to DC, I moved to San Francisco, and now I'm here in New York. So I think it's really interesting to move around and see how design really changed in this really different where you live. It's have its own aesthetic. Um,
Totally. I definitely agree. Do you have here to show us something here from your work? A
yes,
reel to show us?
I'm gonna hit play right now. Here's a reel of on the work that I have done for the last 5, 6 years.
This is so cool. There's so much happening here.
Yes. So I do like create a lot of different kind of thing. I do packaging, I do illustration, animation, and branding because I like to change the pace. I think if you want to be really moving forward to your career, you have to have a lot of skill and knowledge. And most importantly, believe in yourself and, have a vision. So I think if you have a vision, it doesn't matter what kind of medium you're using, it's going to strike through it.
Definitely. I agree with you. And this is lovely. Thank you for sharing your reel with us. Now, can you tell us what we're going to be working on today?
Yes. So today we will be working on designing a pop cake uh, dessert. It's called Swiss Mouth. So it's going to be in a frozen aisle. So today we're going to go through the project outline, kind of understanding what the project is about. And we're going to go through a fun section where I call it speed dating with client, what you ask, top 10 questions that I would like to share with you guys. Because when you first meet client, you want to get to know them. So that's something I would like to share. And after that, we're gonna jump to mood board. And after mood board, I think we're gonna start designing together.
So cool. This is going to be such a helpful stream if you are looking to figure out your packaging design process, how you want to work with your clients. So stay tuned for all of this goodness coming from Dany today. So, all right. So we have Sweet Smile Vegan Cake Pop. Like you said, it's going to be in the frozen section. So
Exactly.
tell me a little bit about this fictional client.
Exactly. Let's go through the first slides here. So Sweet Smile is a little cake dessert. Like you have a little bite. It's really easy to eat. Like you don't have to commit to eat for the whole cake. And it's vegan because these days people really care about what they put in their body, which is really a trend. People really care about the environment as well. So on top of this, this brand is eco-friendly. So the way that they take it from the farm, and the farm is regenerative farming. So I can explain it to you in the next couple slides.
Oh, regenerative farming.
Exactly.
Perfect. Okay.
I'm gonna read through this little description and we can go to the next page. So rather than reinventing the new way cake is made, Sweetswell went back to basic and created it in the purest form with the best vegan ingredients such as plant-based milk, gluten-free baking flour, granulated sugar, vegan butter, and etc. They are on a mission of saving the planet. They mainly use high quality ingredient from local regenerative farming in California. Rather, the desert should continue in some centuries' own pursuit of excellence by building goodness into every ingredient and infusing happiness into people and the planet.
Oh, I
So really
love that.
positive.
Infusing happiness into people and the planet. This is a dessert on a mission, a big mission.
Exactly.
Okay. I love this. And you created all of this, right? As a part of this project. So this just goes to show how much you can kind of imagine your client before, even if you're doing spec work or little practice project, right? This creating a very tight brief, even if it's just for yourself or for one project, is going to help you with the whole packaging and branding process.
Right, because you have to face the world, so like to help them to really stay with what their brand is about and stay strong about it. So in the next slide, what is regenerative farming? So if you think of it, it's all about the soil. Just gonna read it real quick. Regenerative farming agriculture is a conservation of rehabilitation approach to food and farming system. It's focused on topsoil regeneration, increasing biodiversity, improving water cycle, enhancing ecosystem service, supporting biosequestration, increasing resilience of climate change. So it's just like a lot going on here. So if you feel like you're eating this cake, you feel like you're doing something good to the planet. So it's really in a mission. You know, it could be, we don't want it to take it too serious. It could be very fun and playful, but we don't want to be too depressed because we know that climate change is a big deal right now. So we want to take lightheartedly and everyone engage into buying this product.
Definitely. Okay, so these cake pops, they are created, the ingredients are harvested in a really positive way for the planet. And so that is a big part of the story here. I love this. Very cool to get a little bit more information on regenerative farming. Now, what else do we know about the client? What's next?
So next, I'm just going to stay here in regenerative farming just a little bit, just go through the 5 principles. I'm not a scientist, but I can go through really quickly so we know what we design to, because I think it's an important thing. So first of all is keep the soil covered. So when the soil is there, you want some plant that cover the soil because the sun could damage the soil. So it could get it dry because the root of the plant really give fertilizing the soil in different way. So secondly, maintain living root years around. So, you know, when you have the plant, you want to keep it and regrow every year. So it's really important not to waste it. And secondly, minimize soil disturbance. So they don't use any machine or mechanical to destroy the soil, because this thing could like really disrupting what in the soil. So we want to keep it the way that it is. And secondly, integrate livestock. It's like having animals around, you know, they can eat what left out, right? You don't need, you can throw it to them and they do little poo-poos, help with soil.
Yes, natural fertilizer, fertilizer. Okay, so it's like all about how this farming practice really takes into account everything that's going on in the environment, trying to create a healthy balance with the soil instead of just like, you know, other farming practices that maybe are a little bit more abrasive.
Exactly. And lastly, maximizing crop diversity, because you want to keep as many plants as possible. Keep different plants give different fertilizing. So when they all together, they contribute a little bit of everything. So when you grow things from there, it tastes a lot better. It's better for you because we have so much natural ingredient, nutrition in there.
Yes. Okay, really cool. I love this. I love seeing all about this client.
Mm-hmm. And then we can go to the next one is where we're gonna jump into the fun because we want to ask client first before we go into mood board or anything because we want to get to know them so that we know what we do. If they like pink or they hate red, so it's good to find out. So my top 10 question client speed dating. So this question I got it from myself and some of it I collected from where I work, from my coworker. So it's like a collaboration from here and I select the top 10 for you guys.
Okay, so these are the kind of questions that you would ask your client. In this example, it is the cake pops. I think it was called Sweet Smile, right?
Sweet Smile, yes.
Sweet Smile,
yes.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is the kind of questions you would ask Sweet Smile. And even though they're a fictional client for this stream, but this is what you would really ask your real life clients before you get started.
Yes. So, cool. You meet the client, like kickstarting the project. And so you get to know them, have conversation before you go into the process. So this is like really important to find out what they are about.
Yeah. So this is excellent for any designers in the chat or watching this. These questions are going to be really helpful to integrate into your graphic design process. If you're working with a client in any kind of creative capacity, I'm sure these questions will help you out to kind of minimize any back and forth later, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
perfect.
Exactly.
Okay, tell me these questions. I want to know.
Okay, let's start with question 1. Oh, whoops.
We went the other way.
Yeah, the other way. So question 1, scale from 1 to 10, how much do you want to change the look of your current design? So it's like
interesting.
Exactly. It's good to know because sometimes they already have the design. They don't want to change too much or they want to change a lot. So it's good to find out. Let's say they want to change a 5. So for you to keep it, you need to, when you come into design, push into, give them the 5, push to the 6, 7, and 8. So it's always, you always have to push the client, go beyond the expectation because sometimes a lot of time they will be really surprised. They were like, oh, I want to go to a 7. Thank you for pushing me. Because you know better than clients. So you need to help them and go beyond that.
But this is to kind of understand how radical they want to be from the beginning. And then you can know how much you need to push them, right?
Exactly.
Okay. I love this. This is so cool. Okay, what's the next question?
Next question. Oh, why are you going back? Next question, number 2. If your brand was a celebrity pop star, who would it be and why?
Oh, this is a more creative, right? So you can get a sense of voice, right? You get a sense of...
So it's a really creative one. It's a fun way to start a conversation because it's okay. For example, then they say it would be Lady Gaga. So from that, you would understand like this person want crazy design. They want something that's out there, beyond, and no one ever seen that before because that's fit with Lady Gaga. So.
And can I ask you, Dany, what would be the answer for Sweet Smile?
Yes, I have that answer after these 10 questions.
Okay.
We're gonna go through that.
I won't get there yet. Sorry. Okay, number 3.
You're excited, that's why.
I am.
Question number 3, which brand out there truly inspire you the most? So it's you kind of ask them, can you create a little bit of your mood board? Just like to know what they inspire them. Do they want something look conventional? Do they want something more aspirational? It's just like what you like.
Right. Where are you at? What brands do you like? Yes. So you get in their head a little bit. So they could say Dunkin' Donuts or they could say Starbucks, and that would be very different, right?
Exactly. Okay. Dunkin' Donuts really colorful. Star is pretty rounded. So good to know. And then the next question, when do you go out in the weekend? What is your favorite outfit?
Oh, this is so hard. That is a hard question. I feel like I want to ask you that question, Dany.
So I think it's more like, so you want to know the level of crazy and who they are the person. They say, oh, I love wearing fur. So she's like, okay, she likes fashion. She likes something trendy.
She wants expensive.
She wants expensive. She wants like elevated product that is, look expensive. Or someone who wants something a little more normal and they want something a little more conventional.
Okay.
So all just right. Like testing them.
Yes, this is just getting into their psyche a little bit more, right?
Yeah, because like sometimes when if they show up in person, you need to look what they dress as well. So it's like another way to look
Another
at
way,
it.
especially now in this virtual world, right? If you're not seeing what they're, yes, I love it. So smart.
Exactly, because like it's virtual right now. People just wear simple shirt on the camera, so
Yeah.
it's hard to read. So you have to ask them. And then next question, in a few keywords, describe your brand personality. So I think
Ooh.
where people are gonna say, well, is something trustable, something is better for you, or something very, very sweet, is something fun, celebration. I don't know. Those keywords are coming up here.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Vegan, for example, might be one. I don't know if
ex-
that's a personality trait, really, but kind of. It can be a lifestyle.
I think it's more like um, planet, you care about the planet
Earth,
and things
yeah,
like
earth
exactly. Earth,
conscious.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Earth conscious.
There we go. We got to it.
Right. And then the next one, why the name Sweet Smile? This is the question where you test the client if they have a good idea about their brand, if they know the story. But some client they don't know much. But let's say they say, well, I named this brand according to my favorite character from my favorite movie. So I think that's where you know that you need to step in and help them extra so that you
Ah, that is funny. Yes, I agree with you. I totally
yeah,
agree with you.
yeah. So
Because it'll be something completely random. Then you know, okay, maybe there's no history here. We can make it work, right? We can
yeah,
work something into it. But if it
exactly.
has a lot of history, like, oh, it's my dog's name or my grandma's name, or everybody called me this when I was little, there you have
Mhm.
some story to maybe consider using.
Yeah, because when it's going to strategy, you have to dig up their info and help them to building their story. So if they don't have a lot, then you need to dig look a bit deeper.
Yes,
Um,
craft it
yeah,
for them, help them get to it. So
exactly,
smart.
exactly. They hire for a reason, right? So we always there to help them. Um, so the next question is which group of colors? Neon, pastel, natural. Uh, yeah,
Ooh.
so I think this brand is about nature and all kind of stuff. And then you kind of already know already as you're a designer which group of colors gonna fit with their brand. But again, test them again if they have a good idea.
Yeah, because
So
maybe they're very passionate about neon and you were thinking more natural. So now maybe you can use a little bit of neon if it makes sense.
exactly. Mhm.
Play with it. You know what they're more interested in.
Yeah, you could.
Smart.
So it's like walking between the fine lines to like what's good for them and what they ask for. So you can have some natural color with one pop of like neon color, for example.
Yes.
So in packaging design, when the packaging is neon color, people would think this is artificial. It's of sugar in it. There's of sweet. So when it's going to pastel, people would relate it to a little more zero sugar, better for you, light,
Yes.
not heavy. Natural is
Very true.
natural ingredient. So it's just really common sense. But we're own designer, we understand this, but maybe for client they have a little harder time to understand. So you have to hold their hand and taking time, explain it to them
Yes.
why. So it's like stuff.
Yes. Like if they pick neon, but you think that natural would work better, you could prepare for it down the line, explaining why natural is better because you already know they might want neon, but you can prepare yourself. You say, neon, I know you personally like neon, but natural makes sense for the brand. That's my recommendation. And at least then you're prepared mentally to get a little bit of pushback when it comes to the colors. So this is
Ex-
really smart. You're like preparing yourself for justifying or what they might need a little extra help understanding.
exactly, definitely right. Can we go to the next question? What feature of your product do you feel the most proud about? So I think in this case, I see them answering gluten-free, dairy-free. So these are the key ones that you need to know in order to focus on your brand that is clearly is dairy-free. People look at your packaging, they know it right away.
They should know immediately. Yes.
Yeah,
So this is like that. What is the thing we're going to push the most? Because maybe you would push let's say, regenerative farming, and they would rather push gluten-free.
Exactly. So when you design, you're not going to show one option, right? So some option going to hit this, some option going to hit there. So give them a range. So they're like, oh, which one is feel right for me?
Yes. So cool. I love it. What is the other question? We still have two more. Oh, this is a big question.
Exactly. What is your mission? So I think in this project, it's very clear they want to save the planet. So
yes, it is.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I'm sure that some brands have that very clear, and then other brands maybe are not so clear, and maybe you can help them get there with the brand design and kind of explain with the story what makes sense for them, and hopefully get it a little clearer for them if not, right?
Yeah, because it's important to have answering this question, but it's gonna go on their website what their brand is about.
Yes.
So people can through and read it. Even on Instagram, people sometimes they post like some quotes, so we can help them coming up with social media with some tagline that gonna describe what their mission is about. Because it's not about selling product, it's selling a lifestyle, it's selling a mission. So this day, people really looking forward to improve the planet. So people will get touched for sure.
True, very, very true. Okay, what is the last question here, Dany?
Last question. Who would buy your product? So it's get to know what the target is. Is this like millennial, or is this for kids? So you know what do I pull more illustration to the mood board, or do I make it more mature, or it just help you to create the mood board?
Right. Oh yes, this is getting to like that target market question, right?
Exactly.
Beautiful. These are so helpful. I had no idea about so many of these. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, this is what everyone needs to be bookmarking, screenshotting. Make sure you remember this. Tag Dany's Instagram if you share it, because this is so helpful.
Yeah. And also, please let me know you have other questions. I would love to know too.
Yes. While we're here, guys, if you have any questions for Dany, be sure to drop them in the chat and we'll get them answered throughout this stream while we're working here on this packaging piece.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what's next, Dany, now that you have all this information?
Yes. So here we have into the target demographic. Here is millennial 25 to 40 up to early Gen Z, 60% female with a slight skew towards single, urban with income over 75K. Because we want to create this product that everyone can afford. It's not something that pretentious, like, oh, vegan stuff need to be expensive. Like, no, everyone can afford it. It's all about uniting people together. It's not about separating the nation, because now we want it to be uniting. We want to be positive. We all here together, save the planet.
Beautiful. I like it.
Consumer moving to plant-based do believe that it's better for Earth and on the creature on it. Plant equal life, while animal-based equal death.
Yes.
So, staying healthy, saving the animal as well. The conscious, self-conscious, who is looking for product that align with their personal aesthetic and ethical ethos. So it's about, everyone is dressed different way. Everyone look different way. No matter you black, you white, you Asian, we all here together. It doesn't matter.
Yes, this is for everyone, these cake pops.
Yeah. She value the aesthetic of life well lived and believe less is more when it comes to stuff. She loves nature and would go to a hike in a weekend. So
she's outdoorsy. Yes.
She's outdoorsy. She loves everyone.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, so we have our target demo. What else do we need?
So here again, brand personality. So that's where this line answer Harry style and Leonardo DiCaprio. So Harry style, you see, he's like a modern rock star, and it's kind of gender fluid. Proud of the process, pushing gender norm, lighthearted, multiple things at once. So it's like how it's kind of relate to what we talked earlier in target demographic. So they picked this celebrity. So now you know why.
Perfect. Yes, they picked two. They picked Harry and Leo. Okay.
So what's about Leo? He's iconic. He's humble, lighthearted, with a principle. He's also an stylish, friendly but won't back down from standard ethos. So he's when you think of Leonardo, um, he he's very grounded at the same time. He's iconic and he's grounded. So this product is all not about fun desert, but it's had this grounded side where it's like it's had this feels like helping the planet. It's grounded and it's
Yes.
not about like eating candy. It's not too much into that.
I love this. It's like two very different celebrities, but they each bring like some core brand pillars to the brand personality. So I like it.
Exactly. So now when the client brought up some name, now you know how to read them. So it is an example for you. Um, and then next we can look at the strategy. Like we won't go too deeply. We're just gonna go through the pillars. Consider craft, master quality, taste, and texture is important. Made own world simplicity and new world ethic. Natural, supernatural. The most natural, sorry, typo there. It should be cake. Your natural to earth and heaven, 100% vegan, natural ingredient from local regenerative farming. Wellness, mind, rest and know you are doing good. Body, listen to your body. Plant-based product give you good feeling, better. Spirit level, grounded and heavenly at once, allow for pleasure. So when you eat this, you enjoy all your six senses.
Yes. And you I love that. I love these brand pillars. It's like considerate, it's natural, and it relies on it being a product that is good for you. So this is really cool. I love to see this distilled into the brand pillars. What else are we doing here, Dany?
So all of it is come to a tagline you see at the top of the house. The ritual of sumptuous satisfaction, a serving of all is well. So usually when you do a strategy, there's always a tagline that you gravitate to in order to design and create mood board.
Perfect. That's beautiful. Okay. So now we have our tagline based on these brand pillars. And what is next for this process?
So up next, we can look at the dessert competitor. So here you see it's in the frozen aisle, but we're gonna left out ice cream because ice cream had its own aisle, it's had its own thing, but this is more like little bite dessert in the frozen.
Okay.
So here you have cream pop, you have fudge, you have cool house, cocoa bliss, cutie, dairy, my mochi, Faraday, next another cosmic bliss. So if you see here, it's good to see what the compare is about. You see a lot of food photography. I think the one that has the most personality here is the Cocoa Bliss and the Cool House. I think Dream Pop has it a little bit too, but it looks a little conventional. So you see what the space is, and you see how your design gonna fit into it, and how gonna differentiate it. If you see that everyone doing food photography, then maybe you should bring something up to different to the table.
Right. So how do you balance like sticking out, right? So being different, but still being within the category so people still know it's a dessert, right? You don't want to do something too different that is like unrecognizable. How do you find that balance?
I think it's always is like you look at it and then you look at what the aisle you see here. There's a lot of white and cream. So because dessert is like it's frozen, right? So they use a lot of white. So I think here we do have a lot of play here. We can bring in illustration. We can bring in big typography. At the same time, kind of respect the color coding a little bit. So maybe you can minimize the amount of white on your packaging just a little bit.
Just a little, but still have it so it's not completely out there, right?
Yeah. So if they say, "Well, I like Lady Gaga," then here you have the freedom to like go with something crazy.
Then you do all black packaging.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to. We always have to teach clients to be brave and not to be scared. A lot of clients are scared, and me as designer and my teams always push the client. teach them to be brave on the choices. Don't be afraid to be different, because that's where people gravitate to you. You can inspire people.
Yes, especially if it's hit right for your target audience, they're going to love it if it's meant just for them, even if it's a little different for what other competitors are doing in the market. So I think you have such a good point there. Okay, this is beautiful. I'm a little hungry. I'm a little hungry now. So aren't you? I feel like.
Yes.
Sorry about my dog, guys. It happens. What else are we doing here?
So we're going to look at the mood board, and after that, we're going to jump right into the design. So mood board here is with Utopia. I won't read it through, but it's all about making this world perfect. It's like it's heaven, everyone happy, everyone unite together. We own here saving the planet, so it's on the mission and it's all about it. In this direction, we play with our unique point of view up on this earth. Let's start fantastic flag fly. Graphic illustration invite you to be a part of our new world order. Whether it's farmland, an amazing dream flavor, a magical earth, we unfold a fantastic tale of our optimistic perspective. Our typography is likely unique and human, while colors bring in cherry likeness.
Beautiful. Okay. So you created all of this for this brand. I'm so excited to see the actual mood board. Here we have it.
Yes, here we go. So you see right away, it's really optimistic, it's uplifting, it's fun. It's not too serious, like we need to save the planet. We can take it a really fun way. You see this girl, she's really optimistic, she's fun, she's young. She looks like she's about to go outside, go for a run, she's very active. At the bottom, you have this kind of character of the fruit. It feels like individualism, but at the same time, they own the same. They own different fruit, but at the same time, they are fruit. So it's metaphor like we own human, we own different, but at the end of the day, we own human. It doesn't matter the way
we're
we
all
look.
human for sure. Okay.
Exactly. Right next to it, you have this car where everybody coming together. So it's like really talk about the community. So do you want to be a part of this community? You buy this product.
I love it. All these you're mixing a lot of different elements in your mood board. You have the photography, you also have illustration, you have product photography. Do you usually combine this many different things into your mood board?
Yes, it's very important. I'm about to bring it up. So as you see, this food photography have this layer. It's kind of reminiscent of the farm, the earthy, the soil, but the way they shoot this kind of cake or ice cream is very different. So it's kind of related to the concept what we're doing. So for me, when I create mood board, I like to giving kind of different way to communicate the same concept so that I don't get stuck with one typical design. I have some room to play and mixing and matching. So it's really important that you don't stick in one design, because if they don't like that, the whole board's gonna like doom.
Right. The whole project is doomed. The whole mood board is doomed too if it's too similar, if everything is too similar, because then you're putting basically all your eggs in one basket. So I totally agree with this. And I love how varied this mood board is. There's so many different things to look at. Where do you like to go for mood board inspiration?
So I love to go on Behance, people do. And then on Pinterest as well is the main one to look at this mood board. But at the same time, look at what news out there as well, like some agency go on their website as well. So I just want all of you to remember that the mood board is not there for the client to like every single image on the mood board. You testing the water. They're gonna be like, oh, we like this photo, we don't like it, but please explain me why you don't like it, so I don't go there.
Perfect.
So if I go to the next page, let's say this is just an example. They don't come in. Okay. I usually tell my client, can you come in and cross the image that you don't like and type out why you don't like it. So it's gonna keep in note when it comes to the design.
And do you usually ask why not? That way you know exactly what they hate about it?
Yes. So let's say that image in the middle, they say, well, it's too complicated, it's too chaotic. They want something a little more, centric, more simple and iconic. So
Okay.
something, get them to like articulate, because you try to get, again, trying to get into their brain, and then try to understand them, because we speak different language, and sometimes say, I want something simple, but then when they show the example, it's pretty complicated.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mean different for people. It's just an example. One word mean different to people. So maybe as a designer, it's mean different for you compared to the client. So never assume, always find out.
Definitely. That is great advice. I totally agree with you. Sometimes things can get lost in communication. Even though you're communicating it, it doesn't mean you are defining things the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Dany, this has been amazing. We have this beautiful mood board. What is the next step in the process?
So we're gonna get into the design.
It's time to design. If you
Design.
are just tuning in, we're here with Dany Vo to create a packaging identity for this brand, Sweet Smile. He's a graphic designer and illustrator. So if you're just joining us now, join the chat, drop your comments, drop your questions, and we'll be sure to answer them. Join us on behance.net/Adobe Live if you're watching on YouTube. And now, Dany, what are we doing here? We're an illustrator. What's going on? What is the first thing we do now that we have all this information from our client?
So this is my workstation. As you see, I have the mood board right here. And then you have the hierarchy, front of pack, side of pack, top of pack, so you know the information that you have. And then at the top, where this is some tip that I'm gonna give you guys, because sometimes you work and you only, oh my god, it's due in 2 days, you don't have a lot of time, you have 5 other projects to do. So it's just, you have to cheat a little bit in order to like work faster. So you can look up like on Instagram or on Pinterest, like see color matching. So because like if you sit there and matching some colors could take an hour, 2 hours. If you find here as a starting point, you can tweak it after. So it's gonna help you to go faster.
Definitely. So
Mm-hmm.
cool.
So here, I usually start with the logo. I started once here. And then let's look at some type.
Yes, let's look at some type. I definitely
Some fun type.
can't wait to see how you create this process. It's going to be so interesting. There's so many fonts and types to choose from. I'm curious to know how you get started.
Yeah, exactly. So as you see on the board, the font has a lot of personality. It's really lighthearted. It's had its own edge into it. So nothing too simple. It's always something that's a little have a little wing into it. So that's what I'm looking for. So
yes,
you can go on Adobe font that you can sync. There's a lot of font I sync from there. So let's have a look.
And now you're just going to scroll through. Oh, this is very exciting.
Exactly.
We have an amazing question from Emma Wency asking if sketching is important to this process. Do you do your sketching before the mood board, after the mood board? When does that come into play?
So for me, I used to sketch before, but I don't sketch anymore because for me, I work in my own way. So like before I go into design, I kind of sit down and try to imagine in my head already. So sometimes I scared to like forget about it. So I did a little thumbnail real quick so I don't forget that idea. So I'd rather sit down and then think through before I go into here. Because sometimes when you go in and you don't have any idea going on, you can spend a lot of time designing and make it fine tuning it. So I'd rather sit down and think through and go through inspiration.
Got it. So, and do you do any mind mapping or anything like that?
What you mean by mind?
It's usually like when you have a bunch of words and you kind of select which ones you like, or kind of like how do you capture what you have going on in terms of brainstorming in your head down to the screen, let's say.
Yeah, so usually I always keep the keyword is healthy. This brand is about giving back to the people what they deserve. They deserve to, not paying too much, but then able to eat healthy food. At the same time, they save the planet. So in my mind, right away, there's going to be a lot of green in the design because it's about farm as well. So green, planet, could be blue. And again, here they like our illustration in my head. I want some illustration for sure. A lot of this could be really iconic. So I want something centric. Um, so yeah, so I have keep this keyword in my head and start imagining it. I know it's a little really abstract, but it's happened a lot in my head. In my early career, I did use Sketch all the time, but after a while, you don't need it anymore.
Right. You know kind of what works for you, what doesn't. So yeah,
Mm,
why do something if you think you have another system or you can get into it a little bit quicker this way that you explain to us. And you do capture so much information from the client
yeah.
beforehand. So,
Mhm.
it makes sense. When you are asking the client those 10 questions, are you doing that written or a video or is it a meeting? How are you getting the answers from them?
So a lot of it, sometimes I send the question like 3 days before, so they come in prepare. Because sometimes they come in a meeting, they're not prepared, and they don't know what to answer. So
Yeah.
it's important to send this question before, so that they can prepare and think through as a team, so that they're not conflicting during the meeting. So when it comes to the meeting,
Right.
we can go through the question together and answer and have some discussion. So
That way they're also not being put on the spot and they're like, I think Harry Styles, but they're not sure. They just
there we
heard
go.
it on the radio on the way there. Now they're not sure what to think. So that makes a lot of sense. You never want your client to feel like you're putting them on the spot or trying to trick them. So
Exactly.
you want to make sure that you give them these questions ahead of time or they can write them out. They have plenty of time to answer you. So
Mhm.
you get the true answer.
Yeah.
Ooh, you have picked out some beautiful font options here.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about
So
some of these. I already have favorites. Do you?
um yes.
We'll
Sure.
hold it though. We'll wait.
Okay.
I'll go through your process.
Okay. So I do like some of these fonts. It had this, roundness into it. So it's
Yes.
when it's a little more round, it has some friendly. Versus the one under this is a little more elongated, and it's have that pop, so it just bring up the energy more. And then some of this it feel like it's smiling at you, so that's I like a lot. This sweet smile has that curve, like it's have that sweet dessert feeling into it.
It really does. That one feels so happy, so smiley. I can like
Mhm.
almost see a face in the E,
Exactly.
right?
So yes. So when you create starting this logo, it's good to have some option. It's more wild, some option is more elongated because you don't know when it's come to design what kind of fit into the space.
Right.
It's maybe your favorite one, but it doesn't fit into this design. One might have to use the other one and keep this one for another option. So it's good to have
Definitely,
options.
definitely. Yeah, you got to give yourself that flexibility because otherwise you're going to be working against yourself. Maybe
Exactly.
like in a couple days when you do the packaging or when you do the website or whatever else you may be doing. So I think that's
Mm-hmm.
really smart. Um, is that the one that we're going to continue working with?
Yes, I'm gonna pick a few so that we can test into the packaging.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Perfect.
So, for example, let's say, oh, my font library is a little poor. What do I do? Well, you can go on, say you work for them, so they have a lot of font there. So, but then at the same time, you don't want to spend money buying them. So here, this is what this screenshot. So you can test them.
Mm.
So a lot of this, they have it for you to test, grab some screenshot for you before you buy them. So here, when you screenshot, don't forget, I forget all the time, screenshot the name of the font. So when it's come back, so it's like, oh, I like this font, let's purchase it. So I'm like, oh, so I got the
You
name.
gotta yes, you forget the name of the one that they like. you're
Exactly.
going you're going through your screenshots, you're trying to resource it. Yes, be smart, work smarter, not harder. Take a screenshot of also the name. And did you mention where you found these already?
It's on youworkforthem.com.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay,
Exactly.
amazing. These are really cool. These are some
Mm-hmm.
really nice options.
Because like, you could spend a lot of money on fun. Then, at the end of the day, the client have to pay for because it's gonna come into all the typography on the pack as well.
Right.
So
Yeah, you got
it's
to make sure you are licensing everything correctly.
exactly. So let's say I like this font a lot. I love
Mhm.
the E, but I think the M and the L is a little too much. Let's go and modify it, make it personal.
Okay.
So you can just light trace it. I just did it here.
Wait, do it one more time.
Yeah. Okay.
A little slower. I feel like I don't know how that happened.
So let's say here you can go image trace, just black and white logo. Click.
Perfect.
Here we go. And then you hit expand. So it's become vector now.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay.
So
okay.
now,
And this is just for if you want to kind of play with it, you should purchase it if you're going to use it for real. But this is just an example.
yeah, of course, because we want to support the designer who's spending time doing this typography, because I did it once and oh my gosh, it takes months. So
yes, exactly. Typography is a beast.
Exactly. So just want to go back and, give them what they deserve. They work really hard for it. So we own designer feel, let's support each other.
I couldn't agree more. Okay, so what are you doing here? Why are you doing this?
So I want to simplify it a little bit because I want it to look easier to read, but still keep the wing to it. So I do love the E, as I say, but then the W and the N is a little too tricky for me.
Okay.
So I want to come and modify it.
Okay, and you're saying you want to simplify it to make it easier to read?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So because some clients, they really want it's easy to read. Some client is like down to earth, like I love the way it is, let's go crazy. So it's really depends on your client.
And depends on the application too, right? Like if it's going to be really small, depending where you're going to put it, maybe would you ever have a version that is a little crazier when it's big and then simpler when it's small? Like two versions?
I think you would keep it the same because you want it to be a consistent brand. They would be like, is this a different brand,
Got
so
it.
is that a mistake? So it's important to keep it on the same. But sometimes you can change it, more vertical, more horizontal, so that you can change the layout. This is 2 lines, this is 1 line. So I think that's some flexibility over there in terms of layout.
Perfect. Okay, so we're just using that anchor tool to get rid of those extra drips that maybe you make it a little hard to read. And you're so amazing with the pen tool. How are you deciding how to correct it, what the correction is?
You can just look for it because as you see here, you only need 1 point, because when you go into this, the less point the better, because the more point you have, the type of wingy. And then you zoom out, you're like, oh, it doesn't look as sharp, because the less point the better. The smoother the curve gonna be.
Perfect. Okay, wonderful.
Exactly.
You have such a natural eye for this. You know exactly where you need it.
Yeah,
I'm very impressed.
This is where illustration skill coming from, because I did do a lot of hand draw and all of that. So when it comes to here, it's easier. So if you love drawing, practice sometime in the weekend. It's gonna train your eye a lot when it's come into typography or even anything, like even drawing illustration on vector. It's gonna be faster when you draw curve, because you already mastered in hand draw.
Yes, I totally get what you mean. Wow, that looks so natural. I feel like that could have been a W that came with the font.
Yeah, so you can't even see it. So here, let's go to the end.
I kind of love the squiggles though. They remind me of ice cream. Well, but it's not an ice cream brand, it's cake brand.
It's cake brand, exactly. So here, like in the M, I do like a little curve in there. I want to keep it, but here I'm gonna straight it up.
Okay.
You want to keep it like what's special about that type. Keep it the core, because when you simplify too much, then it's gonna have no personality.
Right. You want to keep it, but then I like that you're suggesting here is you can keep it funky, but maybe you can just tone it down 10%, 15%, still keep the spirit of the type, but make it work for your client and for the application, which in our case is the cake pops. So that's lovely. I'm inspired by that. It makes me want to go change all of my fonts just a little bit, get a little crazy with my fonts, with my type. It would be very fun.
Yeah.
I feel like you could spend months doing this process. Am I right?
Yeah, it could take a lot of time, but what I say is like a lot of it just duplicated, and then simple. The more you simplify, just keep duplicating. So sometimes you want to go back. Oh, I kind of want that middle craziness. I don't want it.
Mm,
So always keep. I'm not doing it here because it does take a lot of time, but just
right. So you have like, level 10, level 5, level 6, as you go, different levels of maybe in our case, it's like the little wiggles. And then
mhm,
you can decide which ones feel right for your client. I think that's a
exactly.
really good tip to keep it as you go. That way you can always compare. Because
Because
sometimes you'll forget, right? You're like, wait, maybe that one was, I should have kept the little wiggle there.
yeah, exactly. Sometimes client ask for option as well. So I'm like, oh, I already have the option. I don't have to go back and then
Right.
redo everything. So sometimes they like to see everything in order to make a final decision. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, can it be like this? Can the E be like that? So always keep your option for backup.
Yes. Okay. This is beautiful.
So
We have a
beautiful.
really good question, Dany, here while you're working on this from Becca Smith. And Becca is wondering if you take a one concept approach or do you pitch several concepts to the client?
Definitely I pick definitely different concepts. So it's gonna be 3 to 4 mood board usually when it's show to the client. Um,
Amazing. Okay. And then do you present different options of logo and all that? Or do you just, once they pick one mood board, it's one concept?
so when they pick that mood board, you're gonna come with depend like what do they sign with you. They 4 to 5 design. So I usually show 5 design. Usually it's a little
Wow. Okay.
balance because like design number one gonna be the closest one. Like let's say they say I want to change scale of 10 is a 5. So option one always the closest one to what they currently have so they feel comfortable. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is gonna go further, crazier, like escalated.
Okay, okay. So that is a really cool way to do it, right? You're like taking them, like you can play it safe or you can get crazy with it. It's up to you. You're providing all the options. So
Exactly.
that's a really cool way to work. I like that, and I feel like then when they see what's safe and compare it to like number 10, what's craziest, they might be
Mhm.
like, actually, I want to be a little bit crazy, or crazy looks a little different and I like it, but sometimes the client might not know how far they could push it until they see it visually, because again, you're the visual designer and maybe that's not how their brain thinks naturally,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So, Dany, what are you doing here? You stacked the two words, and what are you trying to achieve?
So I'm stacking the 2 word because I thinking one word's maybe too long, doesn't have
Mm-hmm.
the edge. So I was thinking maybe the top one smaller than the other because I want to amplify the smile because I think the most important. It's a positive part of the brand. So I want to call it out the most. Because
Okay, okay.
because if you say you amplify in sweet, because in dessert obviously on dessert is sweet. So the dessert that make you smile is different.
Definitely. Okay, so that is like the word that you want to emphasize because that's what makes the brand a little bit more different. And
Exactly.
what are we doing here now?
So now here, as we see, we have a few options in the logos already. So let's jump into the packaging.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Here we
Let's do it.
go. For me, I don't design flat. I design directly on the mocha. Why? Because
Oh, wow. I feel like everyone brain has to be exploding in the chat right now because you
really,
design directly in the mock-up. That is, I've never thought about doing that, but it kind of makes so much sense. Tell me everything.
yeah. I do this because you know why? Because on flat you have a difficult time like where it's gonna sit. Let's say your design is too wide and you try to fit in the front pack and you put in a mock-up, you're like, oops, I have to change it now because my layout is too wide. I want to fit a little bit more in the front. Or is your logo too small? Your logo is too big? And what do people see in the front first? So like it's really important to design the front first and then let the client pick what the design that they like, and then you can extend it to the full pack because most clients, if they don't like the front, they don't like the whole thing. So why wasting time using
Right,
Adobe
right.
Pack, right?
And do you usually get like the exact dimensions for the mock-up, like guaranteed? Your clients always are providing that for you?
Yes, so client always provide like what are they using, what kind of like packaging are they using. So sometimes you have flexibility to be like, oh, can we suggest another form if they open for it? But if they already bought a ton of this and you have to use it,
Right,
but you can tell them, how about transparent instead of like opaque?
right.
Or you can ask them
Kind
that.
of give those kinds of suggestions.
Exactly. And
Interesting.
we have attached, we have like a production guy. He gonna get all the information from the client and send out this mock-up ready to you. So usually we have it.
That is really handy. I don't know if you guys, if you missed that, but Danny's saying that where he works at Hatch, they have someone who just creates the mock-ups that he then uses for the client. And that is so cool because you get the custom mock-up, right? They might have like a very specific kind of packaging that they use that, like Danny just mentioned, they ordered, let's say, 5,000 of, that's what it's going to be. And he gets that mock-up ready for him. That is so cool. And that explains why you're able to work directly in the mock-up, right? Because otherwise you may be working in some random mock-up that is not the one that your client has. Then that
Exactly.
would be very backwards. That is so cool. Can you tell me a little bit more about your role as a senior designer at Hatch while we're working here on this mock-up?
Yeah. So a lot of it is like you when you're senior attached, you have to, able to present your idea to the client. What's beauty about where I work is that even that, it doesn't matter. Even if you intern, you have to present ideas to the client. So that's
Oh,
the most
nice.
important thing because you don't want to be that designer who, oh, I can design, but I cannot sell my idea because it's
Right.
important to sell your idea because, um, you have to able to explain your design or to make them buy it because everyone can create pretty design. Um,
But
so
being able to explain your choices and explain just like your confidence in the idea is definitely something that you have to, it's like a learned skill. And so that is really cool that everyone at Hatch has to do this because the more that you do it, the better you get at it too, right?
exactly. So at first, to be honest, I'm scared, right? But you get comfortable after a while. You build your confidence. You know your client. So when you know your client, your thinking when you design is a lot different than going through a filter of someone. Hey, this is what the client say.
Right, right. Because you know that you're getting that direct feedback as opposed to like what somebody else is interpreting for you. That
Yeah,
is really, really smart.
because
Um,
sometimes people miss information too. You're like, oh, they also say this though. I heard that. Like, oh, you're right.
uh, yes, they mention it at the end, like, oh yeah, and by the way, they also hate the color purple, and you're like, no, that's the whole part of my design. uh, and they just say it at the end, like it's no big deal. I totally agree with you. I think that that's a really good skill to have. Can you tell us real quick what are you doing here? I see you're picking up color. You created this sort of crown with the pen tool.
Yes.
Give me a
So
little background.
so here I have everything masked within the packaging. So when you design, it stay into the shape. And here I just want to really talk about plant based. So I really want to come with the graphic of plant. So really have this like feel like grass, farm
Got
grass,
it.
and
Okay.
the land. So I think the color code green here, consistent in every single pack, is really important. And we can switch out a few color. So here when say I want some natural green and let's go in here and pick some in here. It's so much faster. And if you don't like, you can tweak at the end, your process
Got
go
it.
faster.
Okay. Okay. So you're picking kind of like the palette that you think you're going to go for, but even down the line, you're open to maybe adjusting it if you have to.
Exactly.
Cool. That's a
That's
really
it.
cool way to work, a lot more intuitive than just being like, this is the color palette and we're not changing it at all
Yeah.
from the
Uh,
beginning.
so here, look back here, what inspired me. So you can pick like 3 to 4 piece or two that inspire you. You don't have to inspire the whole mood board because you want to keep some for other option, other design that you can come with. So pick two because
Got
there's so
it.
many flexibility here that you can play with. So for this one, I am picking this ASO. I like the structure of this, and it does streaming like farming, helping the planet. And then I like this personality into here, into the packaging to make it fun, approachable. I do like this a lot as well. These people coming in and saving the
Yes,
planet.
they're really cute. So you're gonna mix like the structure from that upper right Azul, let's say, package, but
So
then bring in the illustration and the like happiness from the illustrations in the middle.
exactly, there we go.
Really,
And
really
there
cool.
it is too. So always have the mood board right there because sometimes you have carry on and you look at back like, oh my gosh, my design has nothing to do with the mood board.
You're like, where was I for the last 2 hours? I went all the way over here. It looks nothing like my mood board.
I mean,
Yes.
I love it so much, but it doesn't look like the mood board. Oh,
Yeah. Yes,
so
that is horrible. Has that happened to you before?
it does happen a couple of times. I mean, people come to me, hey, it has nothing to do with the mood board.
You're like, oh,
And
you're right. It didn't. I forgot.
it's normal when you got inspired, you keep doing it and doing it, and that's why it's so important to have your workstation there to keep you back on track. And if you
Yes.
like it, you're a designer, you're always gonna find a way to tweak it back so it look like a mood board. Maybe the color, maybe the typography, just a few points that you can relate it to. So here I'm just creating some sort of device for the information that I'm gonna put into the mood board and where I'm gonna put the logo, the illustration.
Got it. Okay.
So I
Yes.
would like to put the logo here. This is the top of the pack. We don't have to worry about this right now. Let's worry about the front of the pack, and then when you finish, we can go in there.
Sounds good. I love it.
Um,
I think it's so funny that you mentioned that about getting off topic, missing the mark on the mood board. It happens all the time. And you gave some really good advice there. Like you can always update the type, update the colors, maybe update the layout a little bit to mirror what you originally had in the mood board. Even if you kind of got a little sidetrack or you went down a different direction, you
yeah.
can always kind of make a few adjustments to bring it back. And I think that's important because sometimes you might think, I need to start all over. Like everything I did is garbage. It's not the mood board. And I like that your advice is, no, just make a couple adjustments. You can get it back on track
Yeah.
without having to throw away all of your work.
Exactly. There's always ways to tweak. I mean, we're all creative, and there's always going to be a way. And it's been years of doing this, so I'm really confident. Even when I'm off the grid, I can bring it back.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Yes, it happens with more experience. You can always figure it out. Dany, can you tell me what are you doing here?
So I'm just trying to make it iconic, creating the shape where I'm gonna put the food photography because they definitely want some food photography.
Okay.
So they want it to be iconic. So kind of got inspired by this piece, how everything is really central and how this piece have this fruit in the middle. So I was like, well, maybe have this food photography to be in the middle and people gonna remember it. At the same time, they want illustration. You're not gonna sit there and spend, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours to do an illustration at the end. Oh my God, the client hate it. So
Yeah.
my trick is that go on Pinterest and test the illustration. Get what you want, live trace it, and put it in. If it fit, it doesn't fit. And if they, oh, this is working, I love this, let's go for it. Then you can create your own if according to that style. Not like copying it, but just fit in the style.
You're testing like the style of illustration if it's gonna work for their packaging.
Exactly. So
Okay.
never waste too much time creating illustration in the beginning because you waste too much. You're gonna waste a lot of time for nothing.
Right, because they might be like, nah, don't like it, don't like it, don't like it. And then you're just back to zero. You have to make another illustration or edit another photo. So that is a pretty efficient way of working. I love that. And I love that you're like incorporating the photography that you mentioned was part of the category at the supermarket or in the store. Like, you know, we're not going to go so far as to not include it, which would be weird to not include it. I feel like, you know, as a consumer, if I went to the store and I didn't see a picture of the food, I'd be like, I don't know what I'm buying. Especially this is like kind of a different item, right? It's not just something we're already used to. Something new.
Exactly. So when it's a new items, it's important to like show how this look like. So let's say it's ice cream. You don't need a scoop, right? We all know how ice cream look like. It's more the taste.
Yes. Okay. That's very smart and really good advice. I want to remind people watching right now, we have Dany Vo on the stream. He's showing us how he creates packaging for a cake pop brand, a vegan cake pop brand. If you're just tuning in, we're on Illustrator and we're building out this brand live. So join us and bring your questions for Dany in the chat. Drop them in the chat. And if you're watching on YouTube and you're typing all of these questions for Dany in the chat, we can't see them. Come over to behance.net/Adobe Live. We'll answer all your questions right here live in the chat. So come on over to Behance. We have an amazing community. Dany, I love this type. Can you tell me the name of it? I can barely read it from here, but Paso?
So this type is called panel. I love how stretchy it is because it's kind of break through this typography to something more simple because you want to elevate this one that people focus on the brand. You don't want something too complicated fighting with it. So keep it simple, but then it stress how that modern look into it. I like. And the way this name is Girly Rose Lavender. It's very fun.
Perfect.
So it has a lot of personality into here. So I would think maybe we give some personality into our ball. So let's see if this works, okay?
Okay.
We're gonna give some eyes, some facial look.
Okay. Oh, amazing. So you grab those eyes and now we're just gonna test and see if we like how this works.
Yeah. How are we liking it? Are you liking it?
I do, but I don't know if you want to go in a different direction, but I really like it. I think it's playful with the name and it's like cheeky, right? It looks like it's like she's blushing or something. So I really like it. What do you think?
I definitely love it. But you know, before we decide anything, let's test a few more.
Let's test a few more just in case can't go with the first option.
Exactly. Like, are we liking it? Are we not liking it?
Okay.
So let's say this is the design, like really fast, quick look if we like something else. Let's say we put this ball on the top of here. Then we don't have to repeat it here in the front because we don't want it to be too repetitive.
Okay.
Let's say we want these people over here. So I only grab them out because it's about community, right? So I like how this person have like this ball around, kind of like a fiction version of the ball, the cake pop. So into people. So it's about community, right? So these people dress differently.
Just little figures. Yeah, maybe like a different way of interpreting the brand.
Yeah, because it's all about the community, how we come together. So you feel people would feel related. I'm like, oh, this person is me, that person is me. I want to be a part of these fun people.
Yes, it's like, you know, representing all sorts of different people who could enjoy this amazing ice cream.
Yeah. So I think like it's not just anybody, right? So I picked these people because they reminiscent of the product.
So yes, because they have that little circle shape, right?
Shape.
Cake pop.
Exactly. So it's really important to keep it in mind because client would ask like why we choose people, and you give them a reason to gravitate to, like, oh, okay, I love it, but you know, I need more explanation or something. Then you have something to back it up.
Got it. And for this example, for the second one, no cake pop then, right? Just illustration.
just illustration. I thought I was thinking either the cake pop can be in the side of the pack, or the back of the pack, on top of the pack. This, it's a whole experience. So if you don't want to put, you can put it somewhere else. You have space.
Got it. Okay, cool. Good to know.
Let's test one more and see who we like the best.
Yes, another one.
How about her?
I
She's
like
really
it.
fun.
Very fun.
She's very fun, and let's see, maybe she can playing with the ball or something.
Yeah, so this is like a little bit more illustration, right? Like more detailed illustration, but also including the cake pop.
Exactly.
Okay, that is cool. Yeah, you get a little bit of both. So you have so many options here. Do you we have a question here from Gabrielle Thibault. If you work on this logo rebrand for your customer, do you present the logo by itself, or do you present it with the packaging mockups too?
So I usually would have like an opening page, let's say Swiss Smile with the logo big in one slide, and then the next slide is gonna go into the packaging.
Got it. Okay, so at the same time but just separate slides.
Exactly, in separate slides, because sometimes it's really small in the packaging and the client want to see it in details and it's important to like have it separated so we can have different conversation. Let's say, well, we actually like the logo from option 3, can we put it on the packaging option 1? Does it work? So we can start having that conversation, but sometimes don't promise them anything. Say, I'll see where it works.
That's a pro tip from Dany. Don't promise them anything.
don't promise anything. Let's say, I'll see what it works, but
let's try it. I'll try it. I'm open to it, but no promises.
Exactly, because sometimes it works perfectly, sometimes it doesn't, and then you say you promise them, and at the end you don't like it. Like, whoops.
Yes, exactly. You're like, no, it didn't work. Sorry.
Yeah.
I tried it. It was horrible. So no, you would never say it like that, but
exactly. It's in a nice way. Because
you say it in a nice way.
They like to Frankenstein, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And you need to be honest with them. Client love you when you to honest, because they hire you for a reason. When it doesn't work, tell them it doesn't work and tell them why it doesn't work. They're willing to listen to you because they pay the money, you're the consultant, you need to educate them about design, not just do what they want.
Exactly. Yeah. So if they have a bad idea, you would tell them this is a bad idea.
Yeah. Sometimes like give them what they want, but at the same time, I hear you, this is what you want, but this is better. So kind of like give it a little bit what they want, but at the same time tweak a little bit in a way that's gonna work for the design.
Right. Yes. I totally know what you mean. And yeah, I think it's valuable sometimes to show the client, here's what you wanted. Here's my idea that kind of is but a little bit better. And explain to them the difference. Because if you just do what they want, they could have done it themselves or, hired a cousin or something random like that. But if they want your expertise, you got to bring the expertise, show them the way.
Because when you speak to them, always remember, be confident, because that's where they're gonna believe in you. When sometimes you're nervous, they're not gonna believe in you. So the more confident you are, the more they trust you. So be confident when you talk to them. Don't be scared.
Yes. Did that take you a while to learn, like to not be nervous with a client?
Not too much. I think it depends on your personality as well. If you like talking, you don't like talking. But me, it's even harder for me because English is not my first language. And I don't want to use this as an excuse. I don't think so. I think there's always a way to work with your charisma, use your accent, and make you feel more authentic. And people like exotic accent.
Yes. It doesn't have to, it can be a strength of yours. It can make you different and just be, more true to who you are. I have a fun question for you guys and for everyone in the chat. Dany, how many languages do you know?
So I speak Vietnamese, I speak French and English. So in Montreal, you have to be bilingual.
Wow.
I know. Not the easiest language, French, but you to know it's such a beautiful language.
Yes, it is. It is so romantic. I love that you are trilingual. That is so cool.
Mhm.
Everyone in the chat, you can drop a little emoji of how many languages you know. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. Maybe you know 10 languages. Drop it in the chat. I'm curious to know all the different multilingual people in the chat. I know 2 languages. You have me beat by one. I'm going to learn French for you.
So what do you speak?
I speak English and Spanish. You know, they're
Okay.
both helpful, but it's not as romantic as French. Okay, Dany, what are you doing here? I'm just curious because you have the 3 different designs. Are you doing this just for that first idea?
Um, I'm liking the first one the most because I think it's very straightforward. It's not tricky. You get the product right away. It's so fun. Can you imagine you extend to our flavor? They all have different face. How fun is
Oh, it's so cute. I love it. I would love that. And I
that?
feel like I want to like take it home. It's like a little pet, but then you
Right.
eat it, but it's okay.
Um, so here I'm gonna create this circle for claim because they definitely, when you look at the hierarchy, you look at first of all Swiss Mile, secondly cake pop, product name, the claim planet friendly, 100% vegan, and this the weight of it.
The weight.
The weight. So
Okay.
we have the hierarchy here, so you know what put first and what put after.
And do you always create that for your packaging design projects?
So sometimes you need to talk with the client what they want to be on it, and then you're gonna consider them what best. So just let
Okay.
them say what they want, and you come in and you help them.
Got it. Okay. So you have to, yes, help them find the way. Now,
Yes,
what is this? Are you switching out the logo?
yes, because I feel like this one, when you look from far, is a little weak for this space.
Got it. Okay.
Because
Okay.
when it get this big, yes, but I think it's a little small. So I think for this space that we have here, it would be better we have something a little more elongated.
Yes. And I do like how that one has a stroke. It kind of matches the strokes that you have going on in the packaging. I don't know if
Mhm.
those are final or not, but I feel like it all integrates a little bit better that way. Looks a little more
Yeah,
cohesive.
yeah. So I think I'll tweak a little bit to bring in a little more personality.
Okay.
So into the E, I'm gonna have the circle. So one letter lowercase, make it interesting, not all giant.
Okay, let's see how are you going to do that?
So on the type when you want to modify it, just go into object, no, sorry, type, um, create outline. So that's where you can come in and modify it. So
Oh,
push this
cool.
down, and then push the whole thing down. Oops, there you go.
Nice. And now you added the little dot.
A
Oh,
little dot.
so cute. I feel like that makes it more playful too, right? A little bit more juvenile, right? Because
Exactly.
I feel like kids always do like a really big circle on the eye. It just screams like fun.
Exactly. Because you want to keep the youth into this product because obviously this product is a little bit more for adult as well. So it's like a balance.
Yes, because we are going for like millennial, but then it's like Harry Styles, so you don't want to be too like classic. You know, you're trying to find that balance.
Exactly. Because we want adult people to buy it too. So it needs to answer all the asks.
Yes.
So here we are. I think
Oh,
it's
I
pretty
like
fun.
that.
I like it.
Ooh.
It reminiscent of the eye of the character.
I was
So
gonna say the exact same thing. Yes,
you
I'm
read my
seeing
mind.
that pattern. I'm seeing the pattern.
So
So
now
cute.
you like this type of illustration. Well, let's create our own.
Yes. Okay. So that was kind of like the
At
tester.
the test. Yeah.
And that's what you would usually maybe show the client, like, okay, which one of these illustration styles do you like? And then you're going to go ahead and create your own original version of it. I can't wait. And you're just using the circle tool there for that? Yep.
Yep. A circle tool. Um, you use it, and then you can center with this alignment tool.
Perfect.
Let's get some eyelashes. You know, you got
Yes,
some
because
hair,
it's
but
a
you can
girl.
yes, exactly.
It's a
It's a girl.
girly rose lavender. Why not give her some lashes? I love
Exactly.
it. Okay, I'm down for that. We have an amazing question here, Dany, while you're working on this illustration. Because I just asked everyone in the chat, about languages. So this question is from Emma. Have you ever had a barrier in a language, right? Like a different language that ruined a project? Or how did you make it work with a client that maybe there was a bit of a language barrier?
Are you saying the client first language is not English?
Or it's not English, or it's a language you haven't, that you don't speak, you're not comfortable in?
Usually, they would have a translator coming in because we need to communicate and understand, right? So we really don't play guessing game. So it's good sometimes. At times the team is so diverse. There's a Chinese person, someone who speak Russian. I speak French. So usually it does help. And sometimes, if you in your own, you're a freelancer, have some friend come in the meeting with you. Hey, you have an hour.
Yes,
I'll buy you
exactly.
dinner after. Just use the resource around you, because when you come into the meeting, it's important to keep it popping, conversation going, because otherwise the conversation is going to be dead and you feel awkward around the client, So it's important to have someone there who fluent in that language to help you.
Yes, I agree with you, Dany. And I think, even if you're still learning a language, do your best, bring a friend, have a little patience. If it's you or if it's your client, work with them, be as helpful as you can be. There's always written communication, maybe is a little easier. So, yes, there's definitely ways to work with that. And, you got to just keep trying. And if it's your dream, you'll make it work.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Here we are. Now we have the face. How fun it is.
That is so cute. It looks like a little bunny almost.
I know. She's so cute.
I love it, Dany.
Okay,
And I have to say, I love mixing photo and illustration, especially two different styles, right? Because the photo is realistic and the illustration is so cartoony. It gives it just it just fits perfectly in that category of being for adults, but also playful.
Exactly. Because, as food photography is not always ownable, so make it ownable, make it remember. People always gonna remember this ball, like, oh, that brand with the ball. I don't remember the name, but at least they remember something on the packaging. Grab into. So here, I know that in this claim, I want some sort of icon, but I don't want to waste time drawing something that I don't know is gonna fit. I know that I want to leave because it's 100% vegan. This is a leaf that's a little longer, a little more round. I don't know, but I don't want to waste my time. So anyway, so this is where this comes in and help you to navigate your design choices.
Perfect. Okay, cool. So you have all these little shapes. Okay, perfect.
So let's say I like this one. Let's see how it's gonna look, and let's try this one and see. Here, oops.
Part of the group still. Okay. Oh, nice. So you're bringing those little fun organic shapes, which are part of the brand, right? Because the brand is vegan and organic and gluten-free, but bringing it into the illustration style that you're creating already.
Yes.
So quick.
I think I like this one more. See, now you wait. If within a second, you know what you want to do it. You don't waste time drawing it. Okay, now I'm really drawing it.
Right, because you can draw that form like a million times in Illustrator and you wouldn't know which one you really want to use quickly. Yeah. You would have to be drawing it yourself, and that's going to take a lot of time. This is a really fast way to know the general shape that you want to go for. And now you're drawing a custom one.
A custom one.
Perfect. Working very smart.
Because, it's not always easy, and you're like, oh, I have a lot of project going on, and working this way helps you do a lot of shortcuts. So it sounds like cheating, but it's not really. You just working smart. So
Yes. Exactly. It's almost like a mock-ups before you do the final version.
exactly.
So cute. And now you're just adjusting it.
Exactly.
Getting it perfect. Lovely. I can't believe you drew that like freehand.
Some people say that to me. I get that a lot. For me, it's
yes, because I feel like some people would do shapes, or they would do like maybe, just cut it out with shapes or work backwards to build it. And you just went in with that pencil tool. Boop, boop, boop. Nailing it. Pen tool, guys, not pencil. Okay.
So that's why it's so important for like practice drawing skill in a weekend.
yes.
Anything, just draw something. It helps you training your eye a lot. Trust me.
You don't know it, but every single drawing helps you like fine tune your eye. And then those skills work so well once you're working digitally for you to detect exactly, the shape, all the little specific points. It's all going to come together in your work over time. Might not be immediate, but little by little, you start perfecting your eye.
Yes, a baby step. Just be patient. Please don't give up first try. You're gonna get there at some point. I believe everyone can draw, and I think everyone can come up their own style. So it's time to like find out for yourself.
Exactly. Okay, so now you're gonna change. What decisions are you making here, Dany? And tell me why.
So here I'm making this circle as a claim. So I'm gonna put the type in the white because I want this claim to pop. So I refuse to color because here we keep white on Swiss Smile, right? So we want to keep a little white, hit of white here and there.
Got it. Well. Okay. And like we said before, white is a part of the category, but it doesn't have to be all over. It can just be, we're going to use it a little differently than our competitors.
Exactly.
That's really cool. And you kind of created a little bit of a rule subconsciously where it's like type on white is what you're going to do, because you did it at the top with the logo. You did it with the name of the ice cream. And now you're going to do it with this benefit, which you said I think was the organic one?
Organic cake pop, vegan.
Perfect. I love it.
So now
I'm hungry for this cake pop.
Let's center it.
I'm always curious how people use these path options and what they do. So let's see.
So you create a circle and then you go into here where it's type on path tool and you click on your circle, it should pop in.
Perfect.
So what are we putting here? It's gonna be 100% vegan.
Okay.
So 100%.
100%.
Is there space between here? Between 100%? Sometimes I ask that question because
no,
okay,
we don't do that in I think in English, but I know what you mean. Sometimes in other languages you do. So I understand that question. I love it. It looks so good. Oh, and then you just flipped it?
Flipped it and then duplicate, flip it, and then here you flip here, preview, it's flipped.
Perfect. Okay. You know all the shortcuts.
Yeah.
I was like, you made that look way too easy. I know somebody out there is like, how did he do it so fast?
Believe me, I like clicking a lot, but it's shortcut when you put Control plus V plus C. For me, I personally never remember this. I should be honest, like I know shortcut here and there, but I don't know it all the way. I know some designers really master these, and I really admire their memory. But
yes, I mean, whatever works for you. I think sometimes also, like, if we're used to doing certain clicks, that's what you're going to do naturally. So why disturb it, if that's what you're used to? Ooh, that looks cute.
Yes, because we want this claim to be playful as well, like fun to look at, because when you see like claim out there, sometimes it's very boring. And I want this brand has a lot of personality. that people can gravitate toward.
And it already does. I'm already seeing it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Here, so I want to keep the same thing. I'm gonna swap out the icon in the middle and the claim. So 100%, 100%.
Planet friendly.
Planet friendly. Yes, thank you.
There you go. No problem. Planet friendly.
Planet. So okay. The type is a little sticky. So
it's a little tight. Yes. So cute.
So now I'm sorry, you can go.
I saw that on the left, like it's cut off a little bit. We can't see it fully. And can you explain why that's happening for anyone who just joined? Maybe they missed the key part of the story here.
Because as I say, we like to design front of pack and see what we include in the front. So we know, should we move this in a little bit more, move that in a little bit more. So designing flat is a little hard, tricky, because let's say you design it flat and your plan is on the way out and you have to come back and fix the design. So just do step by step, just do the front pack right now. When it's got approved, you can expand it after.
Got it. Yeah. So we're working directly in that mock-up, getting a real view of what the packaging looks like, as opposed to working kind of 2D flat, which is maybe what you're most used to seeing. But this makes a lot of sense, especially with packaging design, because the actual shape of the object is going to be so much more important than, the grid on the flat version that maybe you won't even see that way, right? Because of the packaging. Mm-hmm. So that is super cool. And you're making a little flower with the pen tool?
I am.
I love it. It's adorable.
Because I was thinking, planet friendly. So I think flower have that flowerish print. So it's like, yes, you want everything to bloom in this way. You want it to die, right? So it's just why I'm choosing this way is because of that. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I don't think because we have the grid to be really rigid already. Right. Let's do illustration a little more free, so to give a little contrast.
That's really smart. Yeah. I get what you mean. Yeah. You're going for like a little bit more of an organic shape. It's still relatively tight. It's not like completely random, but it does give a little bit more character to kind of contrast with the tidiness of the rest of the layout.
Exactly.
So smart. I love it. It's so adorable.
And always hit save every 5 minutes. It's become my habit now. Yes. Always hit save.
Command Shift S all the time, anytime.
Exactly. And then since we have that, let's go and copy this here.
Okay, the details, getting into the details here.
Right.
Okay. While you're working on that, Dany, I have some questions for you. So I know that you do a lot of packaging design at Hatch. And so I was wondering, do you usually design in CMYK, in RGB? What is your process for that? Because I know a lot of designers, sometimes they're new to this. They don't know kind of what the best suggestion is.
So for me, this is a really controversial question / answer. I designed a RGB. I know people are like, what? That's not the reality. But I like to please my eye. So let's make it be full fluorescent. But at the end, because sometimes when you create CMYK, you still have to pick the chips to give the client anyway. So sometimes the chip has nothing to do with your screen, and the chip is so much brighter. So it's not fair game. So I think it's easier for have more flexibility here when you do the color. The client like it, then that's where you're gonna come in the chips and then
give it a Pantone.
Yeah, give it a Pantone.
Okay,
because our YMCKs could be very limited, and I know the Pantone has a lot more than that. It's had fluorescent ink, or it's had metallic color. It had its own pastel book. So
exactly, I totally see what you mean. Yes, the Pantone options are so wide beyond CMYK that you have personally chosen to just use RGB and then color match to Pantone, eliminating the need to work in CMYK. But if you have a small client who doesn't use Pantones, maybe it's not the option for you. But I also think, Dany, you're working with larger brands. They're going to use Pantones. They are maybe a little bit more standardized. So you have the freedom to make that decision. So I love it because I think you're right. RGB is so much more fun to work in.
It is. Just to please your eye, because like it depends how the budget that they have for the printing too, because the more Pantone that we selecting, the more cost it's gonna be.
Yes.
So,
but in this world, we're working with a high-end, unlimited budget for this project.
Yeah, let's keep it as fun as possible.
Yes.
And then here, like it's kind of empty down there. I think I'm gonna have more illustration. So let's see. I want to like one illustrated version of this ball.
Okay.
Have different kind of color.
I like that you brought in the size of the little circles that say 100% vegan and planet friendly. I noticed that you shrunk them a little bit and brought them in, and now they're a little bit more legible just when you're looking at the packaging straightforward. And that's a really important thing when you're working with packaging design, obviously. So I think it's really cool to see how you're constantly balancing that and keeping it in mind. It's not just one and done. You got to play with it. You got to see what works. And you are a perfect example of that. A little reminder for everybody, if you have questions for Dany while he's working on this packaging design, bring them over to the chat on behance.net/Adobe Live. We're taking your questions. We're here to answer. And you can learn from Dany because he's got a really interesting packaging design process. I feel like already he's working in the mockups. He's doing it in RGB. He's testing things before he creates the illustrations. He's working so smart. So if you have any other questions for Dany Vo, bring them into the chat. All right, Dany, this is cute. You're creating another little illustration, like an organic shape.
Yeah, of a leaf, because I know that this is a little longer. So I want like a more elongated leaf. Because sometimes you see right away exactly what you want. So you don't need to test it. So I don't want to draw twice. So let's, yeah, let's reflect that and then bring it together.
Okay. Yeah. So the other one, you like did the whole thing, but this one, because it's a little bigger and you want it to be a little more precise, you're gonna just mirror it.
Yeah, it's mirror it and then you blend them together because I don't want that middle line. So.
Yes, so Pathfinder tool.
Well, I'll bring it close enough.
Perfect. Overlapping it. And then boom, I'm merging those shapes.
And then sometimes you adjust it too. Sometimes you don't do it perfectly. So just come in and edit it a little bit.
Yes, but that's faster than doing the whole thing by hand and more precise.
Yeah. And sometimes you have this kind of thing, you don't want to go to this mignon. You just click on it and go into the stroke tool, turn it around. And you don't have to fix it.
Nice. Save yourself the trouble.
Exactly.
The more you know. Some people, if you didn't know about that tool, I feel like sometimes you can really struggle trying to perfect the stroke. And then you learn about that little feature, the stroke, the different end caps for the stroke. And it's like a game changer. You're like easily so able to modify your strokes and make them behave exactly like you want.
Exactly.
Cute. Okay. That is so adorable.
And we want a little too big. So sometimes let's zoom out and see. I feel like the side is a little thick. I'm gonna thin it a little bit more. So with the foot photography in the middle can be a little more dominant. So I'm gonna thin this out.
Okay, so give the photography a little bit more room.
Exactly. Yes, just a little bit more.
So while you're working on that, Dany, I have a question here for you about your project for Sumo Citrus. So this is a really big brand. I have seen Sumo Citrus at the store. I have bought Sumo Citrus. Is the most iconic of all citrus, in my opinion. And I know you designed the packaging for them. So, what was your favorite part of that process of working with such a major citrus brand?
I think it's so much more fun because that project is very contour because that fruit is from Japan. So like, oh, something different. We can look into something more contour. But at the same time, when you look at my website, it's California based, so it's not directly from Japan. So
Right.
we only have inspired by Japanese. So if you see the logo of Sumo Citrus, it's have that cut that inspired by Japanese calligraphy that have that cut when you
Yes.
wear. And then even the logo is so iconic because the shape have that top knot. So we really want to make people remember that, make it different with others orange. So
Yes.
it's really important to highlight that. And I put like a little flower in the middle, just like reminiscent of the Japanese pattern. But at the same time, it's reminiscent how you open the mandarin, this have this flower inside. So it's like a double meaning there.
I love it. That is such a cool project. And did you work in a similar process to what you're showing us today for that project?
Yes. So I did do like 5 mood board and it picked because that's citrus the season is during New Year, January. So if you
Okay.
see it's like busting like firework. If you see the graphic.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it's just like, oh my God, it's January, it's New Year, and I'm so excited tasting this fruit. Telling a little bit of that juicy world flavor as well, that you convince them this fruit when you bite it, it'll bust in your mouth. So the graph
Yes.
say it a lot. And after that, I'm so happy for the client that attached. We did it really well because they tripled their revenue after. And it's
That
a
is the impact of amazing branding. Yes, I feel like ever since they rebranded, I've been seeing them everywhere, or maybe not rebranded, just branded maybe the first time, but I see them everywhere now, and they definitely stand out from all the other more basic oranges
yeah,
because the regular oranges I feel like don't have a branding. They're just oranges, and Sumo Orange always has like a cool box. It's just so neat, and I am honored to get to talk to you about it. That is a really cool project, and it's so cool to know that this exact process that you're using and sharing with us today is what you use to create such a major brand. So thanks, Dany, for sharing with us your secrets.
yes. So when that friend come out, it definitely disrupt everything because when you see it, I think you bought it, it's pretty expensive, like $3 for one. So we really
I
want
bought
to.
one.
Oh, exactly for one. But you ate it twice because it's so big.
Yes, it's true. It's true. And I do intend, I liked it. I'm going to get it when it's in season. I'm happy to get it. It was like a moment though. I feel like everyone was like, you have to try the Sumo Citrus.
People went crazy on like I did not expect people went crazy. If you go on Sumo Citrus fan page or whatever, people went crazy.
I mean, it's like so positive. What is there not to like about a new like tasty orange, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like perfect for the times that we live in. It's such a wholesome brand. I love it. I'm excited for you, and I'm so stoked that we get to kind of know more about how you created that project. And I can totally see those 10 brand questions that you walked us through earlier, how those come into play for that developing that brand. So I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so exciting. And I can't wait for January so I can eat another Sumo Citrus.
Yes. So here, I think I'm pretty much done with the front of the pack.
Yes. We have like 10 minutes left.
Yes, let's
No,
look.
maybe like 6 minutes left. Doing quick
Yes,
math.
let's just play with colors. Let's
Yes.
say we expand to another flavor here. What happened here?
Something copied over wrong. Okay.
Something. Oh, let's not worry about it right
Let's not,
now.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
Exactly. So here, if you want to like do like a quick color matching, no, sorry, not color matching, color grading without
Mm,
spending too much effort.
okay. Oh, I'm interested.
Yes.
So we're still working with that first package, the Girly Rose Lavender, right?
So we're gonna accent to all the flavor right now. So that's why we
Okay, cool.
doing all the color. So here, let's duplicate it.
I'm following you guys. Okay,
And
so
then
duplicating it.
let's say we will have to do a different face for it, but for now, let's replace the different product, the
Okay,
different
a
line.
different cake pop.
Let's say triple truffle chocolate. So this is the naughty one.
The naughty chocolate.
The naughty
Okay.
chocolate.
It has like coffee in it or something.
um, so let's say this is the face. We're gonna start doing it tomorrow, different face. But
Okay.
here, so here's the color, right? You don't want to come in and change on the color and on that. Select all of it. Go into this tool, recolor artwork. This wheel tool here, you have it at the top left. Click on it. Here we are. So if you keep this together, it means when you turn this around, the whole thing changes. But you don't want to do that.
I don't. I kind of do.
If you want to, I mean, whatever works for you.
Okay. I follow.
Exactly. So here you want to keep the same green to all of them, so we don't want to move that green, but you can move others. Oh no, I forgot again. Whoops. There we go. And
you can just start moving it around.
Yeah, you can start moving around. It's like blue, but I think I would go for brown into this, brown and orange. Because brown could be a little dark, so let's make it orange. Another way, if you find this like wheel tool is like, oh, it's hard to like pick the color, put in advanced option. That's where it's gonna pull out here, and then you can see from this color gonna come to this color, and then that's where you can go to this cursor where you're gonna change it. Like
okay, so if you change what's there in the HSB, it'll change the new color.
Exactly. So from that pink to this color.
Beautiful.
It's so easy. Like I think I'm almost done. Look.
Yeah, that was so fast. And you kept the green, because the green is like the brand color that we're not going to change at all. We want to have it throughout all of the packaging to unify it. But then you were able to quickly change the purple and the pink so fast.
Exactly.
That is so neat.
And then when it's come to here and then you out there, you're like, I want to push this color, and you can come in and just change it by this way, because I want to have a little more contrast into it. Let's do
something dramatic. Too dark.
You want dramatic?
That's drama, bringing drama to the dessert aisle, right?
Yeah,
I feel like I didn't see that much brown.
Right, because I feel like I'm gonna soften it a little bit, because you see it's important to look at the hue of the color you're happy with, and to hear that it's just not too jumpy. So I'm gonna soften the brown a little bit to calibrate the contrast between the purple and the pink here. Okay.
Let's see. Selecting all of it and lightening it up just with the color picker by eye.
Exactly. Oh, what did I know?
It's so cool to see how you're easily able to just change these colors with Illustrator. I feel like if you were working in Photoshop, it would take so much longer. You have to remember to pick the tools that work and help you work a little faster. And I think Illustrator is so obvious for this.
Yes. So let's change the name. What was it?
Trouble chocolate.
Triple chocolate. I mean, I was lazy sliding here, but you got it right.
I got it right. Just so you know, Dany, we have like 2 more minutes of working left, like 3 minutes of working left. So just a little heads up. And if you have any last minute questions, bring them to the chat. If we don't get to your question, you can always bring it to us tomorrow when we continue this amazing project.
Exactly. So last advice for today, when you design this packaging, it's the best when I didn't do it, but the best when you design that has the longest name, so that you deal with the trouble first and the other is easy. Now you see, this is what I dealing with. Like, oh. So
Oh,
either you
okay.
scale down the type. So like, okay, so this is the longest one, probably the other one gonna fit. So you just gonna duplicate this so it's the same size. So
Ah,
always design with the longest name.
got
Always.
it. That is a really like that seems so simple, but if you don't do it from the beginning, you have to go change all. Imagine if this was like 10, you'd have to be doing this a couple times. So you're totally right. That is something that really should keep in mind.
Yeah.
Especially if you have like a long name, like it could get
Yes.
wordy sometimes.
So like sometimes here we're lucky because we have a lot of space here. We can slide it in and out, but some
Yeah,
case it's very tricky.
it's very tight.
It could ruin your whole layout. So
Yes.
keep that in mind.
I this has been amazing. Okay, so now that we have to start wrapping it up, Dany, can you give us a little overview of what we did here today and what we can expect for tomorrow?
Exactly. So today we did went through the project outline, and then we talk about um, the colors, and we go into the mood board and have that 10 speed dating questions so that we went through. When it comes to here, having your, you know, workstation ready so that you don't miss anything. You got this illustration ready so that you can just keep trying fast. So here today we did do the front of pack. We did try one of expanding the color of the different pack. So tomorrow we gonna design top of the pack.
Ooh, that's fun.
And after that, we're gonna place the design into the shelf set. We have the shelf set right here, so we can test if design work or not. And if it work, okay, let's extend to all the flavor and let's design the whole packaging, left side, and the back of the pack. That's what we're gonna do tomorrow. And if we have more time, we're gonna design Instagram for them to help the client navigate how to express this packaging outside of the pack, and some poster and web head landing page, some mock-up as well. It's a lot to do.
Yes. There's so much to do here, Dany. I mean, we did so much today. The logo, the design, just showing us, I think something that everyone really appreciated was just how you are able to kind of test the fonts. You were able to kind of preview it and customize it for the
Right.
logo. And the same thing with the illustration. You really showed us how you can test different illustration styles before committing to creating an entire set of illustrations, custom illustrations for a brand. So that was super cool. We have learned so much from you, Dany. Everyone in the chat, please be sure to check out Dany's work on his portfolio site and on his Instagram. And of course, follow him everywhere so you don't miss out on what he's creating next, because he's a great designer over at Hatch. So there's always more to learn from Dany. And of course, remember to come back tomorrow, guys. We'll be here tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific for part 2 with Dany Vo. So you don't want to miss that. It's going to be really exciting. There's so much more to finish in this project. Tomorrow we're creating the top of the illustration, the sides, the shelf set. I know that there's going to be so many other tips that you're going to show us, Dany, that are going to blow our minds. Remember, guys, bring your questions tomorrow. And now stay tuned for the Premiere Pro Creative Challenge with Ryan Selvey right after this stream, you guys. It's going to be a good one. And remember, Adobe Live will be back tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Pacific for an Adobe Express stream. Thank you guys for watching. Dany, thank you so much for your time. This has been excellent.
Thank you for everyone to join, and I hope it was helpful. And I'm looking forward to show you guys more work tomorrow.
Yes, everyone, come back tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Until next time, everyone. Goodbye.